Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. David Hooper, and today it is an impactful one, especially for introverts. Today, it's all about harnessing the power of solitude. And it starts with the question, have you ever felt the weight of loneliness pressing down on you? What if I told you that loneliness could be a powerful force for personal growth and transformation? Stick around because that is what we're diving into today. We're going to explore how to tap into the power of loneliness or solitude to unlock your full potential. But before we do that, how is your week going? How's your day going so far? I hope you are killing it, and I hope that 2024 is everything you wanted it to be. And if it isn't, just know that with 6-7 months left of 2024, there is so much time to make this year incredible. So I hope you're pumped. I hope you are raring to go. And I hope that you're on track with those big goals, those big visions, those big things you're working towards, you're taking massive action on. And the time when you'll be listening to this, it'll be about the halfway mark when it comes to the year, like June time. And when it gets to June, it's the halfway mark of 2024. And what that means is it's a really good time to reflect on how things are going for you. And like I said in the intro, there is still so much time to take some huge action and to change your life. And I'm so excited to try and help you to do that. And if you are in that bad place, this might really help you today, because I don't know about you, but for me as an introvert, and certainly for other introverts who I've spoken to, loneliness is something that we are okay with, but we are also not okay with. Because I think as introverts, we sometimes decide to do things by ourselves a lot, which again is a great choice. I'm a big believer in doing that. But there are times when you feel lonely and feel like no one wants to talk to you. And even though you've made a lot of those decisions and put yourself into those situations, it's sometimes nice to be wanted and to feel like you're not alone. But like I say, as an introvert, being on our own is fairly common. Quite often it's a choice. For me, it's definitely a choice. And apart from my wife, who I obviously see a lot, I spend a lot of time on my own. At work, I'm by myself, and I'm absolutely fine with that. But it's important to be able to tap into the power of solitude rather than getting stuck in the loneliness that you might. But if you're watching this on YouTube, and maybe it sounds a little bit different today as well, I am not sitting in a toilet if there's an echo. I'm in a new location. So for the past 7 years, which is a hell of a long time, my wife and I have worked over the weekend. So today's Saturday, and it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. And my wife's next door in a little room, in a little office, studying towards her chartered accountancy qualifications. I'm so proud of her. She's got 3 to go. And we are getting after it on a Saturday. And we've got a week till we go on holiday to Crete. So it's all about getting after these next few days and making sure that we arrive ready to really relax on that holiday. Because Laura and I have got big plans for the rest of this year. Laura is progressing in her job. She is killing her chartered accountancy qualification. She's got 3 exams left. I want to continue with the podcast. We're coming up to 50 episodes, and I want to start my own business and change my working pattern as well. It's a big couple of months, big summer for us. But for now, let's get into why unlocking the power of solitude could really change your life. Today, we're going to be diving into the often misunderstood emotion of loneliness, and I'm going to share 5 ways to harness the power of loneliness turning it into a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. And we're also going to discuss how you can reframe loneliness as well. Engaging in self-reflection is really good for that. And we sometimes use it as a tool for building a stronger, more resilient approach to life. So this one is going to be pretty pragmatic, pretty practical. And by the end of it, like I say, you're going to be getting after it. But before we get started, like I kind of mentioned in the introduction, I found myself in periods of solitude where I felt disconnected and I felt isolated. But it was during this time that I realized loneliness doesn't have to be a negative experience. Instead, it can be a powerful opportunity for growth and introspection, to look into yourself. And you just have to balance that. You know who you are and what you like and what you don't like. You can be an introvert and not want to be alone. You can be an introvert and love to be by yourself. So there isn't a right or wrong answer here. But what we will do is figure out what this means to you and how you can really use solitude when you find yourself there, and you can be really productive in that state. Loneliness is a universal experience that we all encounter at different points in our lives. You are not alone, no pun intended, when it comes to loneliness. A lot of people feel lonely all the time, which is so sad. And it's often thought of as a negative emotion. But my question always is, what if we could reframe that into something more positive? And what if we could maneuver loneliness to actually be a powerful tool for that self-discovery and that crazy productivity that we know we can all do? And I think understanding loneliness and its impact is really crucial. It's not just about physically being alone. It's about feeling disconnected from others, even in a crowd. So you might be with 100,000 people and feel like you're by yourself. However, by changing your perspective, you can turn loneliness into an opportunity, and that is to reconnect with yourself and your purpose and your actions, and you can really start to make some awesome progress. But just from a personal point of view, I have, for a long time actually, for the whole time I've worked in my current role, I have been by myself an awful lot. So although I currently work in part of a team, we're all very individual and we don't see each other a lot. So I spend the day walking around the campus by myself and spending just finding places to work by myself and sitting in an office by myself, or I'm working from home by myself. And that does lead to a feeling of disconnect. In my honest opinion, it's a terrible setup for where I work, but I won't go into that detail right now. Maybe there'll be a time to do that in the future, I don't know. But it isn't a good setup. And what I had to do was figure out how I could use this time by myself to instead stop feeling lonely and sad and disconnected, but instead try and utilize all of the opportunities that were in front of me. And that's what I was able to do. And I must say, I am very comfortable on my own. And I'm sure a lot of you are too. But there are times where you think, I could just use some support here. I could just use someone to bounce some ideas off. I could just use someone to say I'm doing okay and I'm progressing in the right way. And to be fair, for me, I do have that when it comes to Laura and my wife. She gets it every other day, really. I'm asking her about the things I'm doing and am I on the right track? And I do need that reassurance from her. And she just guides me a little bit and all these different things. So think about your support network as well. Do you have somebody like that? And if you don't, please come to me. I am here for that chat. I'm here for that support network. Drop me a message on Instagram or LinkedIn at Dr. David Hooper. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you if I can. And if that isn't something you have or need from me, maybe you're married, you have a partner maybe, or you have a close friend you could talk to, maybe an accountability buddy, that sort of thing. Your support network is really, really important. So that's the first thing. Keep in mind what your support network really looks like. But let's get into these 5 points around how to harness the power of solitude and to really make it into something, a driving force behind your success. The first one is reframe loneliness as solitude. So for those people who haven't heard the episode about reframing, and I think it was episode 4, so go back and watch episode 4 if you want to, and it's all about reframing. I think it was a long time ago. We are 38, 34 episodes on from that, which is crazy. Coming up to 40 episodes, man, which is amazing. So reframing, for those people who maybe haven't heard that episode yet or don't know what it is, it's looking at a certain situation and putting a different perspective on it. And what that means is, if something is really bad, can you see the good in it? If something is a challenge, can you see the opportunity to grow in it? So it's all about how you can look at your loneliness and find the positive things within it. When it comes to solitude, it's a state of being alone, but without feeling lonely. So right now, I'm alone. Yes, my wife's next door, but I won't be seeing her for the next 3 or 4 hours. The university here is dead. It's Saturday. No one's in. No one's at work. No one's studying. It's just me in the building by myself for the next 4 hours. I'm doing some recording, but I could feel quite lonely. But it's about getting to that point where you're by yourself, but you are thriving and you are buzzing. When it comes to that reframing process, it's actually quite a simple one. You just need to reflect on what you could be doing during that time. So it's a time to recharge and to fill up your social battery. I know I certainly need that. If I've spent a lot of time with a group of people, I need that time by myself to feel like I'm ready to go again. So there's an opportunity immediately to recharge your batteries. The next one is reflection. I talk about reflection quite a lot because it is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal, and you can use reflection to figure out, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what your opportunities, what are the threats to your progress, and really understand what it is that you want from this world. So if you are lonely, you could reflect and think about why you're lonely. Is it because you've got disconnected from your friends and you should reach out to them? Is it because you aren't progressing in the ways that you wanted to? So you could start to think about your personal development and CPD. Is it that you're lonely even when your wife's in the house or partner's in the house and you need to reconnect with them or maybe end that relationship? Reflection underpins a lot of the great actions that you can take. So do keep that in mind. And then the last one is reconnect with yourself. And I know we're getting a little bit deep here, but you can ask yourselves these questions like, what do I want from this world? I did an episode a fortnight ago, episode number 34, called How to Find Purpose. And that is exactly when you would do this. So instead of sitting in the house lonely and upset, you would dive into how to find your purpose and how to figure out what it is that you want from this world. Are you not happy in your job, your relationship? Do you want to start a business? Whatever it is, you need to figure out what your purpose is. So again, I'm giving you lots of homework here. Go listen to episode 34 as well. And by the end of episode 4 and then 34 and then this episode, number 38, you can feel like you're on a real pathway to becoming unstoppable. So yeah, hopefully that helps with that. Because if I bring it back to reframing, by changing how we view our alone time, we start to see it as a valuable opportunity for growth. Is it an opportunity to read the books that you've been putting off? Is it an opportunity to do that planning? Maybe you've got some massive goals, but you haven't had time to put them down on paper. And that is the only way to succeed when it comes to achieving your goals. So see it as a valuable opportunity for growth, because eventually you will start to seek out solitude. And if you are a very lonely person, it will start to change for you. So I know that I always hide away sometimes in this exact office when I do come to work, because it allows me to get stuff done outside of my work role. So let's say I've got to start work at 9 o'clock. I'll deliberately hide in this office between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and get my podcast done or my business planning done, that sort of stuff. Because what happened was, I've tried to do that when other people have been near me and they want to chat and they want to talk, and that's great for another time. But when I'm trying to grind, I'm trying to achieve my dreams, I need that solitude to get those tasks done for the day. And then maybe at lunchtime we could have a chat. But before that work is my time. It's solitude time. It's grind time. It's getting after it. And I've started to protect that because I don't want anybody to interrupt it. So I fall behind in my podcast or my business planning. So you'll start to see it as an opportunity for growth and to take massive action. And yeah, hopefully that is something you can start to do. The second one, I'm going to go into a bit more detail here, is engaging in self-reflection. So if you can use your time alone to reflect on your life, your goals and your values, it's incredibly transformative. Journaling can be a great one to do this. You can write down your thoughts and your feelings and your insights, and this practice can help you gain that clarity and direction that you need. Funnily enough, I've literally just started journaling again. I went about 9 months without it. And do you think that there has been a connection between my lack of journaling and my spike in anxiety and panic attacks? So I know I've talked about those anxiety and panic attacks on the podcast over the course of filming. I started journaling again last week, and I had a massive breakthrough when it comes to why I was panicked, and my anxiety melted away in less than a week, which was absolutely crazy. Basically, on one Friday, about a week ago, my wife and I were on the way to a restaurant to have a family meal, which was incredible, by the way. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet, but it was incredible. And I was having a panic attack as I drove us to the restaurant because of how awful I was feeling. And then fast forward literally a week, I bounced out of bed with a clear purpose and a clear understanding of exactly what I wanted to do. And that was partly down to journaling. So if you haven't journaled yet, do take the time to journal and to get into what are your thoughts, feelings, and insights into where you're at and where you want to go. Because there is nothing better than figuring out your purpose and then gaining clarity around exactly how you're going to do that. And that's where I'm at now. And it's funny because we've got this holiday in about 5 days time or 6 days time. And it's now that situation where I'm like, yes, I'm excited to go on holiday, but it's right in the middle of planning my business launch. So Lunala AI is developed since I did my soft launch about a month ago, where I put it out to the world, got some reactions, which was amazing, got some feedback, used that feedback to develop it. And now I have a crystal clear understanding of exactly what Lunala AI is going to be doing when I launch officially on, I think it's the 1st of July. I forget the date, but it's early July. And now it's like, I've got five or 6 weeks till then. I want to do all this stuff, but I'm going on holiday. Now, if you'd asked me that literally a week and a half ago, I was like, I need to go on holiday. I need to step away from everything. I need a break. I'm struggling with my anxiety. I'm having panic attacks. All of these different things. So isn't it funny the difference that we can make when you start to actually engage in some of these tools? So engage in self-reflection as often as you can, and that can really, really help you when it comes to taking that massive action. The third one is practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation are excellent ways to embrace solitude. The practices help you stay present and centered, and that in itself reduces the feelings of loneliness. So spend time each day being mindful of your surroundings and thoughts. And it can be as simple as not allowing yourself to think too far into the past or allow yourself to think too far into the future. Just hold yourself in that present moment. I find when I'm walking Luna that I'm at my most present. Yes, my mind flicks forward and back and things like that. But when I'm walking with her, I'm just so in love with her and watching her and playing with her and trying to make her having a lovely time on her walk. And I'm thinking about the squelching of my feet in the mud. I'm thinking about Luna playing and catching sticks. I'm thinking about I'm listening when she rustles in the bushes and jumps into the rivers or the streams and is playing. I'm thinking about the birds tweeting and the colors of the leaves changing, all of these different things. So I live really rural. I live in the countryside where it's just a tiny estate, really. And there's lots of nice walks and things like that. There's baa sheep and moo cows and horses. And it's a good place to be present with. And that might not be the case where you are. It might be, it might be a bit busy where you live or whatever it is, but you can still bring yourself back to your center, and you can really think about those present thoughts, as in, the world, the feelings, the sounds, the smells, what can you touch, that sort of thing. And what that does, it doesn't give you the maybe regret of your previous actions or the worries of your previous actions. And it also doesn't allow you to get anxious or nervous about or fearful about the future that's coming. It keeps you in the present, and it ensures that you aren't feeling lonely, for one, because you're just enjoying the animals or the scenery or wherever you live. Or maybe you're just in the house meditating and you're sitting and maybe you've got some music on and you're just listening to those different chords or bars and you're in love with the music. So have a go at that. If you feel lonely, get yourself outside into nature and have a wander around and be present and think about what your surroundings are. Or have a go at meditating. You can just Google or YouTube how to meditate for a beginner if you wanted to actually have a go at it. And you don't need to be sitting cross-legged uncomfortably on a table with your hands up like Erling Haaland's celebration. You don't have to do that. You can, but you can just sit peacefully and close your eyes and think about nothing. And that can help when it comes to your solitude as well. Number 4 is cultivate creativity. Did you know that loneliness can be a breeding ground for creativity? You can use this time to engage in those creative activities that you enjoy, whether it's things like painting, writing, or playing music. Creativity allows you to express yourself and find joy in the process. Now, in a few weeks' time, I've got an amazing guest called Sheila Abiola, who is talking to us about a similar topic, about silent power and using this as an introvert effectively. And Sheila talks about an amazing story where she has a breakthrough and she just lets her creativity go wild. So I'm not going to go into that because I want to save it for when Sheila talks to you in a few weeks. But this can be really transformational for introverts, whether it is just doing something for the fun of it, like mug painting or reading or writing, whatever it is. Or if you use this time to just get a bit of A3 paper on the table and do some mind mapping around your goals and your planning and things like that, you know, business ideas or all that sort of stuff, then that might be something that you could really engage with. And it might be that you start to have those breakthroughs in these different settings. So cultivate your creativity. Don't just sit feeling lonely. Embrace the power of solitude and use it to your advantage. And then number 5 is build a deeper connection with yourself. So use your alone time to explore those passions and your strengths and your interests. This self-discovery can lead to greater self-awareness and self-acceptance. So try to get to that point where you're actually in love with yourself. You want to spend time with yourself. Something that you could do to fall in love with yourself is take yourself on dates. Date yourself, it's called. So you might go to a coffee shop. You might go to a cinema viewing. My brother-in-law is a big introvert and he goes to the cinema quite often on his own because partly my sister isn't that bothered about going to the cinema. And he likes the cinema, so he just goes by himself. Now, one, it takes some balls to go and date yourself like that. But two, imagine how comfortable you must feel and how in love with yourself you must feel to be able to go and do that. So have a go at building that deeper connection with yourself, and then you can explore those passions and strengths and interests that you might not yet have explored yet. Each of those 5 steps, so I'll just remind them for you: reframe loneliness as solitude. Number 2 is engage in self-reflection. We've then got practice mindfulness and meditation, cultivate creativity, and build a deeper connection with yourself. Each of those steps can turn loneliness into a powerful tool for personal growth. Remember, it's about shifting that mindset and seeing the potential in solitude. But what can you do to actually do this? Here's some practical things you can take away from today. The first is schedule that alone time, like we've talked about, whether it is a coffee date or whatever. Treat it as an important appointment with yourself, whether it might be taking yourself into a games room and playing on a PlayStation. It might be reading, whatever it is. Set aside time each day or week for solitude and start to embrace it. Create a comfortable space. So figure out in your house, where's a good place for you to feel comfortable and at peace. What my wife and I did was set up it was on our landing and we had like this spare corner. And what we did was we put a comfortable chair in there and a big TV and hooked it up to a PlayStation 2, which is so cool because it's about 20 years old. But every now and again, I go and sit in that chair by myself, play on a PlayStation game for an hour or so, and it's really nice and it really helps you, feel like you are in control of things. So have a think about what that might mean to you and go for it. The next one, set intentions. So before you spend time alone, set an intention of what you want to achieve, whether it's gaining clarity on a decision or exploring a creative idea or simply relaxing. Having a purpose can make your solitude more meaningful, because what you don't want to do is arrive at the appointment with yourself, sit down and think, right, now what am I doing? Am I going to watch a YouTube video on how to meditate, or am I going to plan out my business, or am I going to paint something, or am I going to do whatever, listen to music? You want to know what you're going to do before you do it so you can just hit the ground running. So make sure you set intentions. The next one is stay consistent with everything, with diet, with business growth, with relationships, with all aspects of your life. Consistency is key. Make solitude a regular part of your routine. Over time, you'll start to see the benefits of spending quality time with yourself, and you'll actually start to look forward to it as well. And then lastly, I think I mentioned this at the start, seek that support when you need it. If there comes a time where you need to bounce some ideas off someone, or if you just want to have a conversation, although solitude is valuable, and as introverts, we probably like it more than most, it's also important to reach out for that support when you need it. Don't hesitate to talk to friends or family or even a professional. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it can help just to bounce ideas off and get that a little bit of support. So make sure you seek that support whenever you need it. So I hope this has been helpful today. Just to give you a bit of a recap, we've explored how to reframe that loneliness as solitude and to use it as a positive thing. Make sure you are engaging in reflection daily. Maybe you're practicing mindfulness, maybe you're getting into meditation, and you're having a go at these creative things that we've talked about. And that'll lead you to having a really deeper connection with yourself and probably feeling a lot more in love with yourself as well. And these strategies can really help you harness the power of loneliness and turn it into a positive force in your life. I really encourage you to take these steps and to try and implement them, put them in your diary, and share your journey with us. Let us know how you're getting on. You can get in touch with us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and LinkedIn at Dr. David Hooper. And you can also get in touch with me on YouTube at Dr. David Hooper, believe it or not. And lastly, find us on Spotify. Please like and subscribe and rate the show. It helps so much. And that is the Unstoppable Introvert Project. And as always, I want to thank you so much for checking into the podcast. I love you all. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the kind words. We are getting there when it comes to our big goal of 100. The next stop is 50. It is on the horizon. It's about a month away. So I hope that you're enjoying it as much as I am doing it. We've got some incredible guests lined up for the rest of 2024 as well. And I'm excited to share them with you, their stories with you. And remember, your introversion isn't a barrier. It is your superpower. Until next time, stay unstoppable.